point. Oh, that's it.
That one got her done.
People videotape birthdays, weddings, and anniversaries. A few, it seems, like to watch themselves committing a crime. Still, two Union County couples never expected to end up out on a limb the way they did. The plan to slam Robert and Teresa Hammond's van into a tree and pick up the insurance check.
My mother done.
Not yet.
You want to bet? They're not fixing that. No.
Sounds foolproof, right? As long as you hide the evidence.
The first time the van is crashed into the tree, Robert Hammond is driving the vehicle. Then the next two times it's driven by a Paul Gaines, Margaret Delavue's boyfriend.
Union County State's Attorney Alan James says the Hammonds owed Margaret Delavue, seen here with the camera, rent money. She picked up the insurance check, but then lost the tape.
Her husband received a stack of videotapes as part of the divorce settlement, and in going through those, he realized on one of the tapes there was footage of what was an insurance fraud.
The ex-husband turned the tape into police, and the state's attorney had a case as clear-cut as black and white, with a little colorful language thrown into the mix.
This is like your kid's football game. Here we go.
So why would you videotape yourself committing a crime?
It appears they were having a party. We'd like to educate people that you can't do this. What we may educate people is that you don't videotape yourself when you're committing a crime.
Lori is a sweet Christian wife and mother. She had gone grocery shopping to get food for a picnic with her son. As she was loading the groceries into her car, she felt something odd.
I felt something lick my foot.
When she first felt the licking on her toes, she thought maybe it was a dog. So she leaned under her car to see what it was and was shocked to find out it was a man.
I looked at him and I said, "What in the hell are you doing?"
Lori's normally sweet disposition disappeared as anger consumed her and she kept screaming at the man. He rolled out from underneath her car and ran through the parking lot. Even though she had parked close to the Walmart store at 81st and Lewis, didn't walk between the aisles of cars and looked all around, it still happened, and now she wants to warn others.
Don't be afraid, just be aware. And when you go out in public, just don't let your guard down.
Lori filed a police report, and an eyewitness had also seen the whole thing. Even though the story is bizarre, even humorous now, having a stranger touch her really unnerved Lori for a time.
And later that afternoon, when my little boy wanted to go outside to play, I told him no. And it was just because I needed to regroup. And I did. It didn't take me long. It took me a day. And I regrouped, and I'm okay now. But for a day, it really threw me.
The suspect is 5'9", 150 pounds, Hispanic or Indian. He was wearing a black t-shirt and blue jeans.
Made me do the tests and everything.
Bowles did not realize that under Ohio law, operating any vehicle on public property while intoxicated is a crime. Whether it's a lawnmower, a car, even a bicycle.
It's only like .14 blue, but it had like 4 beers in me.
Look, I says, you got to understand that it is a motor vehicle, and he was driving on a sidewalk with us, and he was intoxicated.
You can't have 1 or 2 beers now. They get you for DUIs. It's not like the olden days. They used to take you home.
According to restaurant owner Gerald Madrid, the alleged ill-fated heist began a little after midnight on Tuesday. Madrid says the two teens, fired that day for poor work habits, gained entrance to the back door with a duplicate key. Right away, they made their first mistake, disarming the burglar alarm.
He's using his own unique password to disarm it.
So he's given his ID up right away.
That's correct. So right away we know it's him. So they're not real sharp.
In the video, the eggs are seen moving a change box and then going to the front of the store where the cash register is. Both were found empty the next day. But when it came time for the getaway, they also proved to be a bit absent-minded. They almost forgot to reset the alarm.
Now he thinks it's all secure, nobody will know, and I'm out of the store, I'm gone.
But Madrid says P and other restaurant employees recognized the pair in spite of their efforts to cover up. And so when they came back to collect their final paycheck, he had a little surprise for them. Madrid, who's also a bail bondsman, showed them the video, then promptly slapped the cuffs on him and turned him over to police. The moral of the story?
Be a little smarter if you're going to pull something like this. But they were not very smart. And they knew that I was filming them, and I guess they thought that I wouldn't bother to check things out. But it was easy to solve. They were not very sharp.
Rod Green, KOAT Action 7 News.
Come up, Mr. Bellany.
Gene Bellany will be chowing down on jail food. One of his last few meals in the free world, this Wendy's in North Miami Beach, and boy, was it costly. Police say the mere fact that he was at this Wendy's could make him a prime candidate for the Hall of Shame for bungling bandits.
This would probably be on my top 10 list. I'm going to put him at #1 right now. And that's about a 25-year list, and this was something you don't see very often. It's like almost going to the police station and saying, hey, I did it.
All right, we're going to walk you through this. It's March 22nd. The suspect, he's outside this North Miami Beach Wendy's. He spots the drive-through window. He has a little bandana over his face like this, but it's a loose-fitting bandana. So he jumps through the window, gun in his hand. He's holding people up, but his bandana falls off. Then after the robbery, this guy, believe it or not, comes back 4 days later. He must be hungry because he wants to eat. He's ordering 3 junior bacon cheeseburgers. And then comes the argument.
So he shows his face, shows his tattoos, and then is boneheaded enough to come back to the same restaurant with the same employees to order a meal.
Bellany has a teardrop tattoo on his face. When he returns on March 26th, employees are stunned that he's there. What did he order?
3 junior bacons.
And he said he didn't get the right change back.
Didn't get the right change back.
But going through your mind, you're thinking this is the guy who just robbed us.
Yeah, like he wanted us to open the register to get more money from us. And was like, no.
I don't think he was thinking. I mean, he goes back there, he's ordering food from the same people he just robbed. His bandana was falling down during the course of the robbery. They identify the guy, call the police, and then he stands there and argues with them about his change.
And when you bring this whole thing up to customers, all they can say,
that was hysterical.
That's dumb.
This is armed robbery, so there's no bond at this time.
Seeing something like this is highly unusual, but then again, it's South Florida. So once you think you've seen unusual, unusual comes around one more time.
One stupid idiot that robbed Wendy's.
We just had another one walk in. You gotta check her, see who she is.
It didn't take long for officers to make their first arrest.
What's this one for?
One after another, they made their way through the hallway,
It's early.
into the welcome room, then finally the banquet hall.
Yeah, 2 guys there. So we got 14 people already?
You know, when people don't use their own sense of community and they don't have their self-respect in dealing with the problems they get themselves into, then sometimes the police department has to use unusual methods, and this is one of them.
The Auburn Police Department has never tried anything like this before.
Take them right out.
But due to a lack of manpower and a file list of close to 700 fugitives,
Should be a Jamie and a Justin.
officers decided to give it a shot.
When I looked at it, I said, am I going to be dumb enough to fall for this? I got to think like someone who has beginnings of a criminal element in their mind.
Most of the folks who were arrested were taken in for writing bad checks, committing phony sales, as well as a number of other violations.
Since we had so many warrants, we probably went back maybe like to 2005, 2004 in that area.
In fact, the city has close to 700 warrants out. This sting was dwindled down to the top 200. And when everything was said and done, officers nabbed 14 people. They were taken to the police department where some were released while others were locked up.